Hi everyone, it's Clive. Welcome to the Mitchell Brewery. Well, the kitchen of the Mitchell Brewery. I'm gearing up for another brew, as you can see, and it's another kit. I'll tell you all about it. This is the beer kit I'm using today. It's a Cooper's IPA. This is an Aussie beer, and what you get in the pack, you get a tin of malt extract, and I've whipped the label off, and it's in hot water now. What this does, it heats the sort of syrupy extract. It's a bit like a really thick treacly substance, and heating it up will help it flow out the can, and then you wash it out to make sure you get everything. Bear in mind, you don't get everything included in this can. You actually need to add some of your own malt sugar as well. I also recommend some carbonation drops. Well, you don't really need those. I've discovered you can just add a bit of sugar to the bottles. And you get a little sachet of yeast, which is sort of underneath the sort of cap of the can. Okay, so let's see how we get on. As always, make sure that everything is scrupulously clean, and this is the fermentation vessel. This is filled up with sort of sterilising solution, and as I always say, I'm using the sort of Milton sterilising tablets, and as I always say, if it's good enough for babies, it's good enough for beer. So there you go. I'll just sort of like take one of these tablets, dissolve it in water, and then just basically dilute it to the right concentration for sterilisation. It's handy to have a second fermentation vessel. Basically what I've done, this is the one I'm going to use. You can see it's got a nice little sort of temperature gauge on the side there. This is the second one, and basically I've just decanted all of the sterilising solution from here into here. Just makes it easier. You never know, you might actually want to use a bit of this to sterilise something later. And basically what I've done is I've washed this out with lots of water, and this is now ready to take the extract. The instructions require 3 times 500 grams of light malt. Well, I haven't got that, but I've got 1 kilo of brewing sugar, remember Wilco's, and I've got about half a kilo of this sort of medium spray malt, so that'll do. Not exactly what they asked for, but this is close to 500 grams, so it's not far off. So I'm just going to add this into here, and then add some warm water so it dissolves. And you add this as a bit of extra sort of like sugar to convert to alcohol when you add the extract. That's what 1.5 kilos of sugar looks like, and I've got my trusty spoon to start stirring. The extract's ready. I've just popped the lid, and this is what it looks like. Look at that sort of really gloopy stuff. So I'm just going to add this to the primary fermentation. Let's put that down there. Take the lid off here. Let's see, I've stirred up the sugar. So let's lift this up. Oh, can I do this with one hand? There we go. There we go, look at that. Look at that gloopy stuff. And I'll pour that all in, and what I'll do is I'll get a bit of warm water and wash out the rest of it, because it won't all come out in one go. But I'll let that pour out for a bit. So I've successfully cleaned out the can, and I've added all the extract, and I'll give it a good stir. If you can see there's still a lot of stirring to do, because this really needs to all go into a solution. So I need to give it a good stir, and then I need to top up the water up to about here-ish, about 22 litres. So I shall crack on with that next. 23 litres of bitter wort ready to be brewed, and as well as that I'm hydrating the yeast, and I've also taken 100 mils of the bitter wort, and I'm going to do the hydrometer reading. So see where we are. Hopefully it's going to predict a 5% ABV. The hydrometer is giving a reading of 1.040 specific gravity, and according to my ready reckoner chart, that gives a probable alcohol content when brewed of 5.1%. Well, not bad. That's pretty spot on compared to what it said on the instructions. Ready to pitch the yeast in here. I've popped on the airlock. You can see I've added a little bit of water into the bubbler, and that will stop any crap getting into the container. There we go. This is now ready and to be left in the primary fermenter for about 5 days to a week. So I'll probably leave it for a week, I would have thought, and then I'll transfer it into bottles. it's been 2 weeks since I set the primary going, so it's about time I got on and bottled up the beer. So I've had loads of bottles soaking in sterilising solution. What I'm doing, I'm basically, each bottle has had a sort of, is full up with sterilising solution, tipping it out, rinsing it out with water, tipping that out, and then topping it back up with water, and then I just let that soak for a bit, and then that'll get emptied out and I'll fill them with beer. 42 bottles all sterilised and rinsed out and soaking in water. I've got the beer ready, I've got my siphon, so a quick peek at the beer, there you go. I'm also going to prime each of the bottles, so I'm going to make up a solution of sugar. So I'm going to get 150 grams of this in 350 mils of water. I'm going to boil up some water so it'll dissolve quicker, and then add 10 mils of that solution to each of these bottles, and that then primes the beer and that kick-starts the secondary fermentation process. In order to get the siphoning going, what I do normally is I fill up the tube with water, and then I basically use the magic wand, and then that water pulls through the beer into the bottles. Here we go. This is the sugary solution, and I've got my little 10 ml syringe, and I'm just going to put 10 mils in each of these bottles. Here we go, you can see the siphon in there, and I've got the magic wand thing here, the magic bottling wand. So I'll show you how this works. You can see a little bit sticking out at the end of the magic bottling wand there, can you see? Basically that gets depressed upwards, and then that releases the beer into the bottle. There we go. So all those bottles are filled with beer, 42 of them. I'm just now using this crown capper to put on these caps. You can see these metal caps, you can see it's all splayed out. And what you do, place it on the top. You can see inside here is like a cone. And you essentially force that cone around the cap, and it clamps it onto the top of the bottle. Here we go, that's 42 bottles of what I've described as Frostie IPA. That's an Aussie beer kit, so that's where that comes from. Right then. That's it for another brewing video. Cheers everyone, happy brewing.